You're standing at the check-in counter at Heathrow. Your bag is 3 pounds over the limit, and that $400 smart suitcase you bought because an Instagram ad promised it would change your life? The gate agent just told you the lithium-ion battery is non-removable, which means it's a fire hazard, and you're not allowed to bring it on the plane. You're literally watching your expensive investment get wheeled toward a TSA disposal bin while you scramble to stuff your socks into a plastic grocery bag. That's the reality of the travel gadget trap. I've spent the last 15 years living out of a 40-liter carry-on, crossing over 80 borders, and testing every piece of gear from high-end hard shells to those weird vibrating neck massagers they sell at the airport. I've wasted thousands of dollars so you don't have to. And honestly, it makes me sick to see how many must-have lists are just filled with over-engineered junk designed to solve problems that don't actually exist. We've been conditioned to think that if we just buy one more piece of silicone or one more battery-powered widget, our 14-hour layover in Dubai will suddenly feel like a spa day. But here's the cold, hard truth. Most travel gadgets aren't tools. They're clutter. They're things you have to charge, things you have to pack, and things that eventually break when you're 4,000 miles away from a repair shop. But it gets worse. Some of these gadgets don't just take up space, they actually make your trip more stressful. Take the smart luggage craze, for example. A few years ago, everyone wanted a suitcase that could charge their phone, weigh itself, and GPS track its own location. It sounded like the future. But then the FAA and IATA stepped in. Now, if that battery isn't easily removable, you can't even check the bag. You're essentially carrying a giant, expensive brick. And let's be real. Have you ever actually used the built-in scale more than once? Most of the time, those sensors are about as accurate as a weather forecast in a hurricane. Now, you might be asking, if the tech is so bad, why does everyone keep recommending it? It's because travel marketing relies on your anxiety. They want you to feel unprepared for the what-ifs. What if the water isn't clean? What if my phone dies? What if I can't sleep on the plane? They sell you a solution for a 1% scenario that ends up being a 100% annoyance for the rest of your journey. I know this sounds a bit cynical, but stick with me. Once you stop falling for the gadget tax, you realize that the best travelers aren't the ones with the most gear. They're the ones who know exactly what to leave at home. If you're tired of being the person at the baggage carousel struggling with a bag that weighs 50 pounds because of convenience items, hit that subscribe button. I'm stripping away the marketing fluff to show you what actually earns its spot in your bag. Let's start with one of the biggest offenders, the gadget that promises to keep you hydrated but usually just leaves you with a mouthful of dirt and a dead battery. Let's talk about the first item on the stop buying list, and this one is going to hurt because it looks so cool in the ads. The UVC water purifier bottle. You've seen the marketing. A sleek, matte-finish bottle with a glowing blue light in the cap that promises to annihilate 99.9% of bacteria with the press of a button. It sounds like a sci-fi dream, but in the real world, it's a $100 paperweight. Here's the thing. UV light only works on clear water. If there's even a hint of sediment, silt, or floaties in that tap water in Mexico City, or a stream in the Alps, the UV rays can't reach the pathogens hiding behind those particles. It's called shadowing, and it means you're basically drinking a glowing cocktail of bacteria. Plus, these bottles don't filter out heavy metals, chemicals, or microplastics. Unless you're deep woods trekking, and even then you'd need a pre-filter, you are better off with a $20 collapsible bottle and a pack of purification tablets for emergencies. But wait, it gets even more ridiculous. Let's move on to the dedicated pocket language translator. These little devices cost anywhere from $200 to $400, and they claim to be the end of language barriers. In 2026, buying a standalone translator is like buying a dedicated device just to check the weather. Your smartphone, the one already in your pocket, is running AI models that are light years ahead of the proprietary software in these plastic bricks. Between Google Translate's offline modes and the new real-time interpreter mode on most modern flagships, these dedicated devices are just one more thing you have to keep charged and one more thing for a pickpocket to grab. Seriously, I've seen people fumbling with these in Tokyo subway stations while their iPhone 17 is literally sitting in their other hand, perfectly capable of doing the exact same job for free. It's a solution in search of a problem. Here's where the math stops making sense for your packing list: the traditional bulky neck pillow. I know. You want to be comfortable on that red-eye to London, but those giant, U-shaped memory foam or microbead pillows are the absolute bane of efficient travel. They don't compress. They hang off your backpack like a giant fuzzy anchor, picking up every germ and floor spill from the airport terminal to the airplane bathroom. And for what? Most of them actually push your head forward because they're too thick behind the neck, leaving you with a literal pain in the neck before you even land. I know this sounds crazy, but stick with me. There are better ways to sleep that don't involve carrying a stuffed animal around your neck for 2 weeks. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but surely I need something to keep my gear organized and my bags light, right? Well, that leads us to the fourth gadget on the list, and this one is a classic case of over-engineering a problem that was solved decades ago. The fourth item that needs to go is the electronic luggage scale. I get the anxiety. Nobody wants to be that person frantically rearranging their underwear on the terminal floor while a line of 200 people watches. But buying a dedicated digital scale is a classic case of buying your way out of a habit. Most of these gadgets are cheap, battery-dependent, and surprisingly fragile. If the battery dies in your hotel room, which it will because you haven't touched it in 6 months, you're back to square one. Here's the secret. Most veteran travelers just use the bathroom scale method at home, and for the return trip, most hotels have a scale in the gym or at the front desk you can use for free. Even better? If you're pushing the 50-pound limit so closely that you need a digital sensor to save you, the gadget isn't the solution. Your packing list is the problem. But there's one final gadget that is the ultimate king of uselessness, and it's the one everyone puts on their gift guide for travelers: the portable UV phone sanitizer box. This is the peak of travel scam culture. It's a bulky, hard-shell plastic box that takes up as much room as a pair of shoes, all to do something that a 10-cent alcohol wipe does better, faster, and more effectively. Not only is it a waste of luggage real-time, but most travelers end up leaving it in the hotel room because it's too much of a hassle to set up every night. If you really want to keep your tech clean, buy a pack of screen-safe wipes. They weigh nothing. They fit in your pocket. And they actually remove the physical grime that a UV light just shines on. So here's the master traveler shift you need to make. Instead of looking for a gadget to solve a problem, look for a system to eliminate it. The most expensive high-tech piece of gear in the world won't make your trip better if it adds friction to your day. The goal isn't to be the most prepared person in the terminal, it's to be the most mobile. The secret to effortless travel isn't a smart suitcase or a $300 translator. It's a high-quality, lightweight power bank, a solid pair of noise-canceling headphones, and the discipline to leave the what-ifs at home. I've seen it 1,000 times. People spend so much time managing their gear that they forget to actually experience the destination. Don't let your gadgets become your baggage. If this deep dive helped you save a few $100 and a lot of shoulder pain, make sure to check out my other videos on how to pack a month's worth of clothes into a single carry-on. Safe travels, and remember, keep it light, keep it simple, and for the love of everything, stop buying things that need their own suitcase.